How we doing, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Wolf, and today we are going to be covering my third planned league starter. One of the ones that I could possibly go for. If I was going to go for a 100 sort of like a race, this is definitely one of the characters I would go for, because I found that when I was doing my, not so much 100 races, but just trying to see how high I could go, I found I was dying a lot. And or the characters I was playing ended up dying a lot because I built them too squishy, going for too much damage, that sort of stuff. And it's kind of funny what winds up being too squishy because I kind of build them average, obviously, like, cap resist, about 5.5k life, steel skin, that sort of stuff. That's not enough. Path of Exile is a game of one-shotting you and having you just kind of blink and go, what the fuck happened, and you just have to move on because you'll never know. So, as a result, you wind up just getting one-tapped by a lot of things, and a lot of builds just get one-tapped over and over. It doesn't matter if you're playing like Ranger or Melee or spells even, you just get, and you're done, right? End of story. So I've decided to make a character that is as dumb fuck easy as humanly possible, while being as tanky as possible. Basically, I'm using a zero investment skill that can pull pretty reasonable damage, which is Herald of Agony, and then stacking defense on top of defense on top of defense. You see we clock in at 6.1k life. That's just because I've thrown in a Combs because I don't feel like doing up all the items. This is just to add the plus max life you would get off of putting plus max on every other piece. So before people start ringing in the comments that, oh my god, there's a Combs, it's just I didn't feel like at the time going plus 100, or plus 70, plus 70, plus 70, plus 70, plus 70, plus 100, right? I didn't feel like doing that, so throw that in, add in resist on every piece of gear. Make yourself that much tankier. You end up with basically the same life pool. I'm just fucking lazy. Alright. So, because of that, we are able to pull in pretty reasonable life, and then we're stacking on defenses. We are going with a Cyclone setup here. We're using Cyclone to poison with Fortify and Blood Magic, so we don't have to worry about any mana problems or anything. And we're using Herald of Agony for all of our damage. Our Cyclone is just going to be spinning on things 24/7, constantly poisoning them, constantly keeping our Fortify up pretty much permanently. At this point, you can use whatever you want for a weapon with this sort of character. I'm using a two-handed weapon because if you use a fossil or an essence, you can get minions deal increased damage through said item, right? On a two-hander, it is a higher damage multiplier, I'm pretty sure. Alternatively, you could use one-hander and shield. You could use a scepter and shield. You could use like Monogrel's Grasp or something. I believe that has minion damage on it. Alternatively, you could just craft a axe or maybe a mace. Maybe a mace. I'm not entirely sure if it would make much of a difference. You could probably go for like mace AoE nodes somewhere if you wanted to just poison everything. Not that it would really make a difference, but still. You can go weapon and shield quite easily with this as well if you want to just get even more tanky. But we're going with this for DPS reasons, obviously. So mix and match if you feel like you're having problems later on, because our Herald of Agony is going to be doing all the damage for us with no real issue. This is the setup we're rolling with there. This is the highest DPS you can get for tail spikes and whatnot. Damage on full life, Herald of Agony, to my knowledge, is always on full life. I don't think it can lose like life at all. At least the bar doesn't go down. So yeah, we got minion damage, vicious projectiles, added fire, and then maim. This will be in the chest piece, obviously. And the Cyclone setup will be in the weapon. I plan around generally having a 5-link setup. If you can manage 6, even better. Obviously, this is planned for double 6 if you're going for, a two-hander. If you're not, you might need to cut something here. You might need to find Blood Magic elsewhere, or maybe Fortify elsewhere, who knows. Or alternatively, you could look for the Lesser Poison, take this out, look for 40% poison, maybe on a unique, or maybe in the skill tree is also possible there. A couple of other options for survivability. You can add in cast when damage taken, steel skin, or cast when damage taken, summon Stone Golem. So we go for that with a Stone Golem like so, and we end up getting even more life regeneration. Got one of them in there. And we can also put on a War Cry. If we're looking for that, we can go for Enduring Cry. We got one of those. Clocking in some pretty decent life regen. And then we can go for a self-cast or cast when Steel Skin. I would recommend putting Blood Magic on this because you're not going to have a whole lot of mana available on this character. So, going to probably want Blood Magic there. And that is going to make us nice and tanky. Because obviously you can get that to level 20, and you can get a 2.2k shield on top of, 6k-ish life with Enduring Cry, life regen. Words are hard, man, I tell you. I cast when Stone Golem for a bunch of extra life regen, no real issue there. And then we're using Curses with a cast when damage taken projectile weakness, because obviously we're going to be in the fray of everything with Cyclone, just spinning on everything 24/7, so we're going to be taking a decent amount of punishment. So when we get hit over and over, we will proc the level 5 projectile weakness, making our Herald of Agony just decimate things. Pretty useful. We have Vol Haste. You can just enable this whenever, really. We're only using the Vol version. We're not using the normal version. This will apply to you as well as buff your minion as well. And then we have a cast when damage taken Flesh Offering. This is just going to proc passively to give you bonus damage to your minions, just consuming the corpses and whatnot. There may be an issue if it just like repeat procs over and over, as well as you might want to lower this level a little bit and optimize that. I think this should be like level 5 or something, probably somewhere around there. Kind of screwed that up by accident. But yeah, then for an aura, we're running Hatred Generosity. Obviously, if you aren't able to manage this mana-wise, you can cut this and go for the 6th link here, right? Because you want Herald of Agony to be as powerful as possible, you want all of the links in Herald of Agony. So I have it optimized to use Serenity, and then you can anoint a reduced reserve. We have another one down here for as much reduced reserve as possible. You can anoint the one that's like over here for Charisma for 8%, and you'll do pretty okay. You can maybe squeeze an extra aura in that way. Skill tree wise, pretty simple. Just kind of showcase that there for you. As much life as possible. Obviously, we get life, Jewel Socket, minion damage, life, minion damage, life, and pop left, res tech, so our Cyclone doesn't miss. Life, Endurance Charge, possible Jewel Socket if you want that. Life, come down here, grab life, remove movement penalties from armor, because it's like 3% move speed for one node. Give or take, it's whatever. Endurance Charge, life, possible Jewel Socket if you want it. Champion of the Cause for reduced res. Instant War Cries is a possibility. Unwavering Stance is a possibility, but we are going for Unstoppable, so it doesn't really make a fucking difference. If you want to like cut this and go somewhere else, you can, but I think this is still the best setup for the Ascendancy. Unflinching for max endurance charges, we're at like 7 or 8. You can put on Combs gear if you really want to. Then we have Unrelenting for Chaos Res, because Chaos one-shots are a thing. Maybe use some Chaos Resist Rings if you really want to optimize and be unkillable by everything. I could go for something like that. And then we have Unbreakable for regen. Armor from body armor is doubled, so a heavily armor optimized Astral Plate with good life, and you're gonna be basically unstoppable. Run a Basalt Flask, run a Granite Flask. Nothing could really fucking kill you. The only problem this build has is it's about as enjoyable as watching paint dry. So, because I have played it before, but the character is... I didn't play it as far as I wanted to. I played it to about Blood Aqueducts, realized it was going to be really effective, but then I was bored out of my fucking mind. So that's the one downside to the build, is if you like watching grass grow, you'll be good. If you really want to level 100 this league, this is the sort of character I'd recommend going for. You're going to be bored off your ass, but you'll get there. And you'll get there without dying, more than likely, unless you go and do like ultra deep hardcore end bosses, then you might die a couple times. Unstoppable for stun removal, obviously, just can't be stunned in general. Increase movement speed and making temp chains maps not really matter. Also, you're going to want a flask that gives you curse immune, so you can do basically whatever map mods you want without giving a fuck, and shouldn't really be a big issue. Come up here, endurance charge, grab devotion here, bit of extra life there. One other node to mention is life regen per endurance charge. This is actually quite a big one, because this gives us, we have what, 7 or 8? 8 on 0.2 is fucking, that's math. 1.6% life regen for free. Scales up with max HP pool. You think I was making an RF character, but, we're looking at pretty good life regen. Obviously slightly inflated because Enduring Cry's on, but roughly about 800. Pretty reasonable, with a lot of jewel sockets open if you want to take that route. Alternatively, if there's Delirium stuff that's just kind of insane, go for that, who knows. Then we have redemption for minion damage. We have minion damage here, minion damage here, minion damage here. Really all you need. You can go for a minion damage helmet if you want as well. You can go for the bone helmet, which has sadly been nerfed over the years, but you know. Then we have Serenity for reduced reserve. That is basically the character. It's pretty simple, pretty effective, pretty powerful, and pretty fucking brain dead. I'll be honest. No real worries whatsoever. Gear-wise, you can slot in basically anything. You want, obviously, res cap, max life, armor chest piece, max life chest piece, a well-rolled life astral plate with double armor rolls. You'll be pretty much unstoppable. Then, if you want to really optimize, go double chaos res rings. You shouldn't really have much of an issue. You're at minus 32 already, and that's just for free. You can do the whole game on minus 60, but if you really don't want to die, optimize for double chaos res. Maybe roll chaos res on gear if that's something you care about. One socket if you find anything interesting in Delirium, or if you just find really good ones. This is another thing that I need to kind of talk about. If you find really good jewels, like if you manage to find like percent max life jewels, and like a lot of them, then you can opt for 2 points, 2 points, 2 points. You see what we're kind of talking about here, 2 points, and all you need to do is cut out some of the extra stuff that you don't really need. You can cut 2% of 2 minion damage points there, 20k DPS for 6% max life. When you don't want to die, it's a good trade, right? 4%, 4%, 6%. You could cut down to here. If you want jewels and you roll like 4% max life jewels, for example, cut this. What are we losing here? 8, 6. Oh, that's math. I'm really not into it right now. 14%. Yeah. If I did that wrong, I need to go back to grade school. But 14%. Cut that. We get, how many points is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 4, 6. So we got 6%, 6%, and 6%. So that's 6, 12, 18. 18% max life over 14, plus whatever else we roll. If you roll, I don't think you can roll minion damage on those things, but there's a couple of alternative rolls you can get. I'm not entirely sure. Hang on, let me just go. We can have a look. We're in path of building. Does make a difference. J, there we go. So we want one of those with 5 to 7% max life. Oh, you can roll up to 7. Okay, if you get God roll, even better. And then from here, you can go pretty much whatever you want. You can go chance to block if you're using a shield. That'll make you a bit tankier, right? Adding in extra layers. Armor's not bad. Yeah. I mean, you can give or take whatever you want, really. I believe there's other options as well for jewel types if you're looking for something different, because I'm pretty sure most of them can roll max life, right? Yeah, they can all roll max life, so you can fuck around and look for whatever you want and just optimize out. That's still more worth to go for all those and cut this bit, provided you feel like putting in that much effort or you want to play the character to endgame. If you're on a really min-max and min-max the character, that's the better route to take. If you're just going to play it and casually map with it, go to quick recovery, you're losing 2% with potential upsides. To the min-maxer who snorts coke off his Chris Wilson body pillow, that makes a difference. But to the rest of us, it's kind of give and take. But yeah, so that is the character. Let me know your thoughts on it down below. I played it. It was really good. It was just boring as shit. So if I want to go for 100, it's a character I would use personally because it just doesn't die at all. And it's really easy to gear. You just get tri-res everywhere. Double chaos rings. Decent necklace. You can optimize for whatever uniques you want. I don't think it's really anything like of note other than like Vismortiz, but that screws you out of a decent chest piece, right? If you want to optimize for DPS, that's there. Grip of the Council, if you want DPS, sure. I don't know why that's really there, but whatever. Yeah. Seems pretty decent to me. That is going to be all from me. Thank you guys very much for listening. And as always, take care, gentlemen.